Welcome back to 2C TV, your global news channel. We come to you guys with some breaking news, this time coming from Liverpool in the United Kingdom. The Liverpool Crown Court. Today, the trial of the Muslim brothers who were, now we can say, responsible for the attack at the Manchester airport literally a year ago in July 2024. It took over 12 months for the establishment, the police and our justice system to finally finish this drama, but this might not be the end of it. We're going to give you guys the summary of what happened today, and of course for those of you, if you missed the whole story, the whole drama, give you a quick summary, but then we might be looking at a retrial, and I'm going to explain why. First things first. Mohammed Fahir Amaz, 20 on the left, and Mohammed Ahmad, 26 years old, appeared in the Liverpool Crown Court after last year when they, alongside their mother, were at the Manchester airport, and there was a bit of an altercation at first. The police tried to intervene. These guys, the armed police, by the way, the armed police at the Manchester airport, these guys decided to poke the bear and cause trouble and beat up a couple of police officers. One of them obviously broke her nose. The police who were armed, they restrained themselves. At that point, they had every right to shoot down the suspects, but they didn't. So they used their legs and their feet because they're not allowed to use their hands because they might drop their gun. They were told based on their training, use your feet. They brought them down and they put their feet on their heads, on their neck until they stopped and they got arrested. The police officers got into trouble. We had the trial today. One of the brothers has been found guilty. I'm going to explain the actual charges. There are a number of counts, obviously, in terms of the charges and why we are potentially looking at the retrial. First, just as a reminder, let's just go and see what happened. So you can see that the one who's wearing a blue hoodie and the other one got involved. And they literally kicked and is now punching the two female police officers. He said, as part of his defense, I didn't know they were women. First things first, what's that got to do with anything? Whether they're a man or a woman, you literally were punching them. That aside, how can you not tell if they're women or if they're not women? I mean, it's just complete insanity. Anyway, so the full CCTV footage only came out after. The only thing people saw on the day was a few seconds clip of an armed police officer kicking one of them, the younger one, in the head with his foot, because that's what he's supposed to be doing. He got into trouble. But apart from all that, when the full footage came out, I don't know why it had to take about 12 months, over 12 months, for this to finally be concluded almost. But the PC Zachary Marsden and PC Ellie Cook, who were armed, alongside unarmed PC Lydia Ward, approached the brothers at a pay station in the terminal's car park. This was followed, obviously, there was a reported incident just before that where Mohammed Amaz assaulted a customer at a Starbucks coffee shop in the arrival area. So this was the reason the police had to approach them to find out what on earth happened beforehand. So let's not forget, everything that we've been discussing over the last few months, over the last year, has been about the actual attack against the police officers. There was also another assault just beforehand. This guy clearly has a problem with violence. He beat up another person, a customer, at Starbucks, at the same airport. Then when the police obviously approached, they decided to also beat up the armed police officers, which is a little bit brave or stupid. Also very much illegal. But let me give you guys the actual verdict. Count number one. Mohammed Fahir Amaz, but first, both of them are called Mohammed for some reason. Mohammed Fahir Amaz was charged with assault by beating one of the officers. Verdict, guilty. That's count number one. Count number two. Mohammed Fahir Amaz and Mohammed Ahmad, the other one, were charged with assaulting PC Zachary Marsden, associating, this was the actual bodily harm. Verdict, Mohammed Fahir Ahmad, no verdict reached. Mohammed Ahmad, no verdict reached. Count number 3. Mohammed Fahir Ahmad was charged with assaulting PC Lydia Ward, the unarmed officer, actual bodily harm. Verdict, guilty. Count number 4. Mohammed Fahir Ahmad again was charged with assaulting an emergency worker, PC Ellie Cook, by beating her. Verdict, guilty. And then, following this, Mohammed Fahir Ahmad remains into custody until the Crown Prosecution Service decide whether there will be a retrial. Everything goes back to count number 2 because no verdict could be reached. You have the full footage, by the way. You got the whole video. Everything is quite clear. You also have eyewitnesses on the ground. You also have multiple police officers who can also, but they have also done their testimonies. Apparently, they struggled with count number 2, which involved the other brother as well. So now they're going to push for a retrial. Now he has been found guilty, so that's done for now. But when it comes to the other one, this could be a continuous saga. Let's not forget, while the realities already came out, in July last year, the Muslim Council of Britain, the Muslim Council of Britain, that is, by the way, apparently a respected body by the establishment, by the government and everybody and the authorities. These nutters released this statement. We are deeply shocked and alarmed by footage showing the aggressive use of force on passengers at Manchester Airport. Particularly troubling is the footage of a man who is kicked in the head and repeatedly hurt while he lay on the floor unarmed. This footage has caused significant distress across communities in the UK. It is important that a police officer has now been suspended following this incident. You see the issue, right? It's called bullying. It's called Islamic bullying, and it's been going on since the 7th century across the world. They bully. The Muslim Council of Britain. None of these people have issued an apology since. None of these people have been investigated. None of these people have simply been asked, do you know what you're doing here? You are stirring more division, more hatred, and more chaos in the country because you didn't get your way. Now, following that, the first incident footage that came out, then obviously the police officers got suspended, and these guys got arrested eventually. July 2024. After this, the whole thing sparked riots in Rochdale. We saw riots, which, by the way, obviously we reported a year ago. The media completely forgot about it. The media didn't really cover the riots. These were riots by the Islamic community who were angry that these guys were arrested. Greater Manchester Police had to appeal to the Muslim religious authorities to try to regain control of the streets in Rochdale, highlighting the breakdown of society. The fact that a lot of people probably at this point have forgotten about this because the media didn't really cover it, even at that time. But that's not the biggest issue. I will give you guys the actual video, a short clip from when the riots were starting, the beginning of it. Watch this.
Yeah, go on, lad. Just watch him, yeah, don't get him.
I'm the top one. You can't clean them.
This is the beginning. It's just fun for them.
Oh shit, sorry. What did you say? What?
They did this everywhere, by the way, when it came to the Northwest. Having said that, the video of the female officer who was obviously, she broke her nose. Let's just go to that again. This is from Daily Mail.
Are you okay? All right. Calm down, you can. Okay. Are you all right? Sit down for me. You're fine. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it.
Right. We saw that. We also saw the full version, the CCTV footage. By the way, the person, the people who leaked the CCTV footage from the airport, they got into trouble. There was a whole investigation by the police and Manchester Airport to find out who leaked the CCTV footage, which told the truth. They had a bigger problem with somebody being a whistleblower and releasing that footage from the top that showed the whole thing. Apparently that's a big of a crime than actually finding out the truth about what these guys did. Now, the leadership of the Greater Manchester Police in general, over the last few years, have been pandering and pandering and pandering, right? To this community. In case you might have missed this, let's go to the superintendent or deputy superintendent. Let's just go to him as a reminder. They even at this point speak Arabic. They start their videos saying Assalamu alaikum or whatever.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. My name is Phil Hutchinson and I am the Superintendent for Greater Manchester Police based in Oldham. Obviously echo everything that the leader, Rouge, has said. Firstly, thank you very much for inviting us and arranging the meeting. It's the inaugural meeting. We're having these now bi-monthly, so in respect to what Rouge has mentioned about some increased tension, obviously there are a number of issues going on nationally and within Greater Manchester. We're engaging with all communities and Greater Manchester Police and UK policing will continue to deal with perpetrators and people who are committing crime.
Right. Okay. How did that go? All that pandering. You can't control the streets. Greater Manchester Police cannot control what's going on in Greater Manchester. Doesn't work. They have no respect for you, even if you try to speak Arabic. Now, we'll wait for this push for the retrial to find out if they're going to be successful or not. Meanwhile, speaking of airports, it's important to give you guys the latest updates because we are having some issues across the country, well, specifically London, the London airspace. Let me just show you what we have been dealing with. So this is just resumed. So major disruptions at the London airports, all the airports in London right now, after a radar malfunction apparently, that has forced temporary airspace shut down. So they had to bring down all the flights. Nothing will land, nothing will take off until a few minutes ago. They've just about resumed now. This is our live feed from Heathrow. And the UK Air Traffic Authority says that it's currently unclear how long it will take for the full operations to return to normal. It's a bit of a mess, the whole thing at the airport situation in the UK. The breaking news that we now have on this story is that the National Air Traffic Service released a statement about an hour ago. The first statement that they released, which I can read for you guys. As a result of a technical issue, apparently, at NATS Swanwick Air Traffic Control Centre, we are limiting the number of aircraft flying in the London control area in order to ensure safety, which is always our first priority. We apologize for any delays this may cause. Our engineers are working hard to resolve the problem as quickly as possible, and we are working closely with the airlines to help minimize disruption. At this stage, we cannot say how long it will be before operations are back to normal. Please check with your airline on the status of your flight. So that was at just after 4 p.m., right? 4:05. Then shortly after, we did release the follow-up. Our engineers have now restored the system that was affected this afternoon. We are in the process of resuming normal operations in the London area. We continue to work closely with airlines and airport customers to minimize disruption, and we apologize. The problem with this is that because this was a major disruption, some flights have resumed, but massive delays and cancellations are now expected until at least the end of the day. So the fascinating thing about this, by the way, because obviously this came coincidentally at the same time as the Manchester airport attackers verdict is that it kind of reminds me of the biggest problem that we have in the UK, which is the whole system and the infrastructure, which is a little bit outdated. We don't know exactly what caused the radar malfunction, but we can easily say, and for those who are familiar with the infrastructure in Britain, is that it's not going to be the first time, it's not going to be the last time, and everything, when you look at the airport, when you look at security, when you look at the, again, for example, radar system, the air control and everything else, if you don't update and upgrade the whole system regularly, it just shows the biggest issue with the deep issue with the system and the establishment, the whole of the establishment, the culture of the establishment. So this could just be a tiny error, which I don't know how it could be tiny when it's basically affected the whole of the London airspace. But it just is coincidentally linked to this story, which is obviously it just came out as breaking news. I thought I'd report it to you guys there. But it's speaking of airports, basically. Luckily, Manchester Airport is not affected by this. Anyway, right. So let's go back to get some reaction from you, lovely humans, while we wait for more information coming from the London airspace. Alan says, if that video wasn't leaked, then we wouldn't know the truth. Yes, but the interesting thing was that they decided to do a bigger crackdown on the people who leaked it. All right, let's get some super chats from you guys. Carter says, believe me, they knew that they were women. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the guy was standing there, when he was attacking, well, all the police officers, towards the end, he literally only had the 2 female police officers right in front of him with long blonde hair. Apparently, he couldn't see. And that creates a new problem, that he just basically went blind. Blind violence. Everything's about sentencing at this point and the push for retrial, but I'm very much interested to see what sort of sentencing we are potentially going to get for this idiot. Whatever to the Muslim Council of Britain. Don't know why they still exist. GMP equals groveling Muslim protectorate instead of Greater Manchester Police. Thank you, Stu. They wonder why Islamophobia is spreading around the world. The thing is that one of the biggest issues with when they keep talking about Islamophobia, which is not a thing, by the way. Islamophobia is just a word that they created to shut you up when you want to discuss Islam, is by using Islam as a shield for everything that a random person who comes from the Islamic world does, that's backfiring. So essentially what that means is when these two, the Muslim brothers, they attacked the police officers at the airport, the moment that their defense, legal defense, their communities, the Council of Britain, whatever, the Muslim Council of Britain, all these guys in the media started basically using the word Islam or Islamic as part of the way to describe them. They were using it as a shield. They always do it to basically say, oh, you are basically just criticizing these guys. This was a largely peaceful attack, but you are criticizing them because they come from Islam. At times, that shield has kind of worked to shut you up from not discussing, from not criticizing someone. Like, if you criticize this person for being evil, oh, but they happen to be Muslims, and that way you're not allowed to criticize them. In this case, it's completely backfired, and it's started to backfire more and more. When somebody is actually guilty of a crime, when somebody is actually acting evil, or whatever they're doing that's criminal, when these guys continue, and the media continue to use basically Islam and the Islamic identity of them as a shield, well, it's not really working. Until now, they would have said in a very kind of vague manner, oh, there are a bunch of far-right people in the West who just insult and attack some brown people because they're Muslim. So we're going to call that Islamophobia. Yeah, if you make it a vague statement, just say, yeah, a group of far-right people, I don't know who they are, and they're insulting a group of Muslims who I don't know who they are. Basically, no name, no identity. It's just a statement, straw man. Yeah, that kind of works. As a tactic, you are creating a shield saying you can't criticize anybody who's Islamic. The problem with this is that people can now see. People saw the footage. People have now seen the verdict. Even our justice system, at least when it came to Mohammed Fahir Hamas, he is officially a criminal. Using a shield of, but he was a poor Muslim. Now you're going to turn more people, you're going to turn them into Islamophobic. Again, it's not a thing. But you're going to turn more people into that idiocy of the establishment. Anyway, where is the... Let's get some reaction from the members of 2CTV Plus quickly. They need deporting along with the rest of the family. The apples don't fall far from the tree. And Pork says this smells like a con job. I'm just very excited to see, very much excited to see how successful they're going to be with this push to have a retrial just because of count 2. But it's up to the system to find out how they're going to proceed. They need to serve their sentence, then be deported immediately. If the punishment is not serious enough for harming the police, then what hope do the members of the public have? A clear message needs to be sent. Well, the problem with this is that the other one has not even been convicted. I showed you the video, by the way. You saw what happened. Technicalities, guys, technicalities. The police force, I'm afraid you reap what you sow. The British public have no faith in you anymore for pandering to a religion and to the far-left antagonists. And Pork says radar malfunction, read cyber attack. Yeah, I mean, it is highly likely, but we don't know who's going to be responsible for this, because this was not just one airport. This was not just one airline or one tower, control tower. It's the fact that the media are just completely downplaying this whole thing about what's been going on with the London airspace over the last couple of hours is kind of fascinating. They say, it's just an admin error, everything's fine. First things first, a huge number of flights get cancelled or delayed. It is also going to hit the economy massively. Now, a lot of people don't think about this. It's going to hit the economy. It's going to hit, obviously, a lot of people will be on very important flights on a personal level, social level, family level, but also economically as well. So I don't know how a radar system can malfunction to a point where the whole of London and all the airports will be affected at once. Obviously, these things do happen, but not to this level. So once again, they are catering to migrants who don't know any better. Shame on the whole system. Thanks, Maya. Much love from Canada. Thank you. They are normalizing violence. They are afraid of them. They know they will riot and claim Islamophobia. Exactly. If they are regular British people, arrest. What it needs is a strong message by the state, but not sure why it's not seen as the law and order issue. So the previous comment, that's the key point, the fear and the fear of backlash. Earlier on and yesterday, the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, made a statement saying that the United Kingdom will follow what France has done and will recognize the Palestinian state, although it came with the condition basically do a bit of an extortion and blackmail against Israel, saying, oh, if you don't stop in Gaza, we will recognize Palestine. Which, by the way, will also very much anger the Palestinian side, because they're saying, wait, hang on. So if Israel stops in Gaza, you're not going to recognize the Palestinian state? It's a lose-lose. But the reason I mentioned this story is because you just go and watch or have a look at the Keir Starmer's face when he was making that statement. Keir Starmer, who is, obviously his background comes from socialism, but he's, at this point, generally speaking, a establishment statist. He's a globalist statist. And his wife happens to be Jewish. I can assure you, Keir Starmer ideologically doesn't care about the Palestinian state. You could see in his face when he's making that statement, he's not comfortable, but he's afraid. He has to pander. He thinks he has to pander. On a global level, because his friends, Mark Carney and Emmanuel Macron, are on that side. On a domestic level, obviously he's scared of the votes. The problem with this, in 2024, it didn't work for Labour. The Labour Party only managed to form a government because everybody hated the Tories. not because people loved the Labour Party. In fact, in those areas and constituencies where it was already very Islamic, they kept losing. They lost to independent candidates, Muslim, because the Islamic community still called Keir Starmer a Zionist. So this tactic is terrible. It's so weak and feeble, but this is the establishment in Britain. We are governed by weak and feeble idiots. So it seems like more flights are going now from from Heathrow. So that's good, but it has not gone back to normal fully. A lot of the flights are still delayed. Some have been cancelled, but that looks fine. That looks healthy, slowly. We don't know about the other airports. I think they're all going back to normal as well. We only have our live cam at Heathrow. Special thank you to every single person for supporting us, and a big thank you to our team for obviously helping us with this live stream. Subscribe to the channel, download the 2C TV app from your app stores. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.